Hi, welcome to the fourth and probably final video on the Bloomberg series. And if you've stuck around for this long, thank you very much. I would like to take you through now to perhaps the most important functionalities of Bloomberg, period. The first one being the IB chat, and the second one being the Launchpad. Now, if I switch the view right here, the IB chat is accessible by entering IB. Granted, it should start up automatically, but once you enter IB for Instant Bloomberg, you'll be able to see a screen a little bit like this, which will have all of your different chats, persistent chats, open on the left. And then you can click on them, you can switch out of different chats, and you can enter specific rooms. Why is this so amazing? I mean, plethora of traders would say, and salespeople would say that this functionality alone is valuable enough to pay the entire Bloomberg subscription because this isn't just a simple chat room. This chat functionality allows you to message anyone with the Bloomberg terminal, right? And I'm talking everyone from portfolio managers at the Bristol Investment Fund, right, who also use Bloomberg, to Kathy Wood, right? Again, bring her back from one of the from one of the first videos. You can see she's online, working hard as always. But this will mean that you're able to contact anyone that might be useful to you, whether you're analyzing a stock or you need to get a better insight into the markets or set up a meeting, but also communicate with your team much more effectively. As you can see here, this chat is Bloomberg integrated. If I wanted to essentially speak about a certain company, what I could do is not just mention the company name, but I can link to its securities using the curly brackets, right? And put in Apple US equity, and then it will give them some basic information, but also enable them to go into the company menu, the analyst recommendation, earnings estimates, relative valuation, all of that stuff straight from the chat. Which is absolutely amazing. And that's not just for company equities, right? That's also viable for rates, spreads, commodities, all of that stuff. Naturally, as well, with this chat, you can send files from your computer. You can ring the bell, as you can see I obnoxiously did here. On the other side of the chat, there will be a loud ringing noise for just a moment to alert them that you require their attention. Um, Apart from that, you have some basic chat functionalities as well available, but this just creates a fantastic platform to speak to your teammates, clients alike. Okay, moving on to the Launchpad. Now, I exited from mine earlier to show you how to launch it, but if you just type out Launchpad here, then you'll be able to go into Menu, Custom Applications, Launchpad. If you don't have it available, this is what you do, and then BLP. Okay. Now, if you've followed me for the videos and you've done all of the different stuff, right? If you've done all of the different functions, etc., and it's like your third day of using Bloomberg, you realize, Owens, this is all nice and well, but every time I want to follow the markets, I have to enter like three different things, and then when I exit the Bloomberg, it essentially all closes down, and I have to redo it again when I start up. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of hassle, and if you ever been on a trading floor, if you've been to a financial institution, they have like seven different things, functions working at the same time. You know, they don't have time to be starting that up every morning, and that's why Bloomberg essentially introduced Launchpad. And Launchpad is going to enable you to keep components constant, right? If you want to put up your monitors, if you want to be following the markets, if you have something that you want to be looking at day to day, it will enable you to have that option and that functionality within Bloomberg. Okay, here we go. Here we found the menu. Uh, all right. Essentially, what what this is going to allow you to do is to keep things constant. You can see here I have my base view, and when you launch the Launchpad, you will be able to add components through here. Importantly, if you're in this sort of view, um, if you're in this sort of view and you're just looking at, for example, let's do FXIC. FXIP. So if you're in this view and you actually want this function to always be up. You want this in the launchpad. You can just press LLP and then launch in launchpad, and then this will create a new component thing that's going to be added to your page in your view, right? And you can move this around. You can put it wherever you think is good enough on your screen, on your monitor, etc., where you think it fits, if it fits right. Um, and then you're going to click Save View, and you're going to be able to move around different views. But if you click Save View, you're going to be able to, when you log in, load into this view, and you're going to have this all of these components up and ready to go. Okay, now I don't really want this FXIP here, but this is the view that I use to track some of the key equities. As I mentioned, I have my worksheet in one of the previous videos. I have a price chart, simple 1 year price chart for a given stock, relative valuation for a given stock, news for a given stock, and then I have a news feed for all of these companies, as well as the world equity indices. It's always useful to be keeping track of what the markets are doing. If I see that the day is very green or very red, I'll go into the IB and ask one of my friends, why do you think the market is doing this? Get a little bit of an insight, right? This is how you can keep up to date with the movements. But regardless, so the functionality that's enabled, so you can add components either through here by doing W, or when you're in the worksheet on the main Bloomberg page, you can do LLP. Once you're there and you save these things, right, you got to start thinking, okay, so I have this base view, but what if I have multiple things? What if I want to have multiple layouts for different reasons, right? So for example, this is my base view, but if one of these stocks catch my eye and I want to do a little bit of a deep dive into them, scratching the surface to say, I'll switch to a different page view where it's going to have all of the information that I find valuable for the stocks on one screen, right? So you have the same price chart, but only 6 months. You have the financial analysis for the company. You have the events calendar for the company. You have the news feed for the company. You have the relative valuation again, if I want to dig a little bit more into it, on the profitability tab. And then you have the analyst recommendations. So this gives you, I think, a very nice balanced view of the company from the top, and it's very easy to move between these two things. Now, if you've been following along and you started the Launchpad up and you've been playing around with the components, you would have realized, Owens, it's just as much effort to put in the company name into each of these boxes as it is to just start up the new Bloomberg main screen, and you'd be right. And the greatest thing about Launchpad, in my opinion, is this grouping component feature. If you don't have them grouped already, this will be on some of the components. You'll be able to click this hyperlink symbol, and when you do, you can create new group. You can see that I have two groups, group A for this view and then group B for the base view. And essentially what this does is absolutely beautiful. When I click on, for example, Volkswagen, all of these free tabs, right? All of these free tabs that are grouped with this specific security are going to change their focus on Volkswagen. You can see this is now Volkswagen News, Volkswagen Relative Valuation, and Volkswagen Price Chart. This specific component is grouped, but it's grouped to share selected monitor, right? So this is always going to be showing me the newsfeed for all of these companies, no matter what I select, and that can be changed when you're grouping them, right? And if you go back into here, right, all I have to do to change this view from Starbucks to Volkswagen is just put in the ticker into one of these boxes, and then it will change the ticker for all of the boxes, which is fantastically. It's super fast, super convenient. It allows you to get an oversight, and obviously it's incredibly customizable. If you don't think that this is what you want to have on your screen, if you find, for example, the ESG things to be the most important, you can go into here and you can save it as a view. If you want to have like a debt view, if you can add a page and you can have all of the different debt functions and credit analysis available for a company, you can link that, which is incredibly customizable, incredibly dynamic, incredibly fast. And that's all the beautiful things. You can obviously change different things around inside of the components by clicking on the options and navigating them. You can also see that, for example, when you line them up together, if I drag this down now, it's going to drag all of the windows down, and it's very smart with the way that it would expect you to manipulate the screens, and it's very convenient in that fashion. But yeah, hopefully this gives you a nice little background understanding of how the Launchpad functions. And just quickly, I'm gonna show you. Okay, select test. So I'm creating a new page. You can see blank thing, and I'm gonna try and build out a semblance of what I had before. And you can see here, I'm launching my autos worksheet, and then I have it here. It's simple as that, right? Add, select, whatever, GP, standard chart, boom. Has no idea what it's doing right now, but for example, if you want to link it, create new group, group C, and group C. Okay, and then over here, I should be able, boom. So it's grouped perfectly fine. I click on the company, Nokian, and then this price chart is now working with regards to the selected security. From here on out, World Equity Index futures, boom, bish bash bosh. You can have them aligned here. Obviously very ugly, but you can work on that yourselves. Interesting. I haven't tried this out. If you link this to the group, nothing happens. So for some of them, the functionality is obviously limited in terms of perhaps if I had different securities enabled, it would do something. But for this perspective, because it's such a top-down view, this isn't gonna it's not gonna give you much benefit to group it with the rest of them, as which is the reason why I didn't group them. And then from here on out, you can add. Let's see. Can you add company newsfeed? You can do a newsfeed here. Okay, and then you can do recommended newsfeed, etc. Yes, open my newsfeed. This is a macro newsfeed though, right? Not exactly what we want to be having. So let me group to see, and then you'll have this pop up say, do you want the newsfeed for the security, for example, the Nokian that I have selected, or I want it for the monitor, and then same similar newsfeed that you would have seen before. Okay, hopefully this little tutorial helps you get off ground, right? You can obviously also, please, if you want to learn a little bit more, see if you can use the help function. The Bloomberg customer service is also probably the best customer service on the planet. They're very receptive. They reply quite quickly. Give them a call. Ask who you should message. There's a live chat option, which should be available from help space help. Um, but yeah, hopefully this starts you off nicely in your adventures and gives you some valuable pieces to work with. If you found this useful, let me know. If you think I missed out on absolutely anything throughout the series, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what other functions that you know of that I haven't covered, as it's always a learning experience. Apart from that, I'll obviously link the resources down below as per usual, and have a lovely day.